All right, hey, what's going on, everyone? Sam here with Lake Pro Tackle. Guys, this video is going to be all about flat-sided crankbaits, but more specifically the ones with the circuit board lip. So we've got 5 crankbaits here. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the strengths of the flat-sided crankbaits and why you should be starting to get them in your tackle box right now and start to throw them on the water. Personally, I like throwing them in a little cooler water, but we're going to dive into that here in a little bit, guys. But first, before we get into all that, follow the social media, Instagram and Facebook. We're running awesome giveaways every 2 weeks. So we've got a bunch of cool tackle prizes that we're giving away, as well as letting you know exactly what's coming in the store when we get it in. So keep up with the social media, Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe here on YouTube and like this video. We're seeing a whole lot of you watching these videos, so make sure you're subscribing. Not a lot of people are subscribed here, so want to keep up with all the latest news, you want to learn some stuff, tackle tips and stuff, you're going to see Tim and I, we're going to do some awesome videos. So guys, subscribe here, it would help us out a lot. But we're going to talk about some flat-sided crankbaits now, guys. All right, so what really makes a flat-sided crankbait flat-sided crankbait? Well, first off, it's got to have flat sides. Second of all, the ones that we're focusing on today are going to have a circuit board lip in them, and the circuit board lip is a lot different than your traditional crankbait lip. So the circuit board lip, like this guy here, this is the Shimano MB57 flat. The circuit board lip is a lot skinnier, a lot less material, so it doesn't catch a lot of water. So when you mix the flat-sided crankbait action, the flat-sided crankbait action is a whole lot like a rattle trap. They will try to wiggle side to side and not roll as much and track a lot. So when you get into this flat-sided crankbait stuff, it looks a whole lot more like a bait fish swimming around. It's a lot more finessey. And personally, I like reeling these in on a slower retrieve. And that slower retrieve is going to draw in the hunger bites. And the way you marry the action and how you work this bait, it can draw in a whole lot more bites. You know, traditionally crankbaits are really used to get reaction bites out of fish, banging it off rocks, banging it off trees and stuff like that. But personally, I like going for a hunger bite, and I can still get reaction bites on these, but a hunger bite is what I like to focus on when it comes to flat-sided crankbaits. Now, this guy right here again is the Shimano MB57 flat. This one is a little bit different from all the other ones we're going to talk about. That's why I'm starting on it. This guy has one weight transfer system in it. If I chose the clear one, you could have seen it, but the weight transfer system sits a little bit sideways in here, going from the belly to the back of the top here. And the weight transfer system allows you to cast this super far. It's called Jet Boost. But this is an awesome bait. It doesn't have any rattles in it. But the big difference right here is the bait slims down from the head and actually fattens up at the tail section. So it's a little bit fatter at the tail. And what that does is as water goes around it, it's still going side to side, but it's also kicking its back end like this. So it's going to pivot kind of near the belly area where that Jet Boost weight is. So this one I love in shad patterns. You can still throw craw patterns, guys. It really all depends what you want to mimic when it comes to picking out patterns like your color schemes. But I really love this in a shad pattern because that tail kicks and it rolls and it looks like the bait fish swimming in a ball of bait. If you watch it, before I throw any of my crankbaits, I really like to just run them next to the boat, kind of see what they look like and marry that color with that action. So here is the Shimano MB57 flat, and that's the newest one we got in store. We'll talk about another one that we just got in store as well, but this guy right here has been a staple for me in the winter time and fall times. This is the Strike King Chick Magnet. It's super amazing bait. What I really like about it is that just like the Shimano here, I love it in shad patterns because it has a 2-ton rattle almost. It's got a bunch of BBs in there, all packed in this bait, so it makes it really easy to throw. It's got the circuit board lip again, but all that weight is really channeled in the middle section of this bait. And what that does is creates the tail section. It doesn't have a lot of weight, so it creates a little imbalance in it. So just like the Shimano, it's going to have a great tail action going side to side like this. They make some awesome colors, guys. You'll definitely want to check this one out. Again, shad patterns for me. I have thrown some of the yellow and orange patterns and gotten a few strikes on them, but I've really loved this one and the sexy shad. So those two are very similar. Now we're going to talk about one that's a little bit different. This one here is the Jackal Bling 55. So all these crankbaits here, except for the last one we're going to talk about, are in that 55 millimeter range, so about 2¼ inches. And this Bling 55 is something special. It has a lot of rattles in it. It's going to have a true two-tone rattle, and it's going to have, what I mean by two-tone rattle is it has one hard knocker in it, and it also has about 3 or 4 little BBs as well that rattle as well. So when you marry that rattle trap action with the rattles, really makes a lot of commotion in the water. And this one is a great one to actually get reaction bites on because it's making a lot of noise as it comes through the water. And it actually, circuit board lip on it is flat. So the circuit board lip, I don't know if we covered it yet, but the circuit board lip doesn't have a lot of material on it. And what that does is it allows it to go through the water a lot easier. It doesn't push a lot of water, so it's not thumping super hard, but it's going through the water and making a lot of commotion. So that circuit board lip also allows the bait to go side to side, like rotating this way, as well as when you marry it with the what's inside the bait, you can add more action. So when you're reeling these, I like to reel them a lot slower just because it is a natural presentation. So again, when you reel it next to the boat, you're going to see that it swims a whole lot more like a bait fish than any of your other crankbaits. Traditional square bills and deeper diving crankbaits, they're going to have a lot of wobble side to side like traditional shad, and that's to allow the bill to get down and make those reaction bites. You can get a lot of hunger bites on these just because of the action that they have. Now this Bling 55, I do want to point out, has some super sharp hooks on it. Arguably, I think probably the best hooks in the lineup here. The Shimano is very close. The Shimano hooks are a little bit thinner gauge, but the Bling 55 is super deadly. Tim's been using this one already, fishing around docks because this lip is so short. It's almost a perfect depth to fish docks because it gets down to around 4 foot, which is right near that float area. So if you are fishing docks, definitely pick one of these up in the wintertime. Try them out. They're super cool. The Bling 55s, we got them in store now and online, so go check those out, lakeprotackle.com. Now, we're going to talk about a staple for flat side crankbaits. This is the Spro Little John 50. So again, they're all in that 50 to 55, 57 millimeter range, except for the last one. But this guy has been a staple for flat side crankbaits. This one is amazing. It comes, unlike the rock crawlers that Spro also makes, they make a lot of shad patterns in this guy right here. It's Little John again, John Cruz Little John 50. I have the craw pattern because I like throwing these in craw patterns. It has a one knocker rattle in it, and it really imitates, in my mind, it really sounds more like a craw than something like the Bling 55, which has a rattle trap sound. So this one has a hard knocker in it, so I choose to throw it in a craw pattern. Traditionally, I think they designed it for more shad, but I personally like it for craws. And I've taken some of these in shad patterns and colored them red just to get that craw look out of them. So guys, you definitely want to check this one out. It's very heavy as well, so you can throw this one a very long way. Great cold water crankbait. So I know I was talking about earlier how I like to throw them really almost all times of the year, especially when that water gets below 70, and I really bring this one out in the wintertime. The ones that are going to be great for transitioning like fall to winter and winter to spring are going to be these three right here: the Shimano, the Jackal, and the Strike King. These guys are great for that transition time. They've got a great action for bait fish, and they also and that Jackal has a great all-around action. This guy right here, it thumps and it puts off a wider side-to-side motion as you're reeling it, and it really looks to me more like a crawfish again. That's just how I fish it. But again, this is going to be my coldest water crankbait here, as well as the Rapala. This is the OG Slim 6, and this one is super amazing. They do have the tiny version now, which I believe it's called the Slim 3. But this guy is a lot longer than the ones that I previously have shown you. This one is made out of balsa wood, and I would call this a little more of a winter crankbait as well. It doesn't have any rattles in it, and it's going to have a very tight wobble. So that tighter wobble, just like the Spro, it's going to have a little bit of the same action on it. It's a little bit longer, so it might track a little more side to side, more like a bait fish. But you want to check all these out. You know, the flat side crankbaits, they've been around, haven't been around for super long, but they're quickly taking over the market, and a lot of people are starting to learn the importances of having flat-sided crankbaits. So definitely want to get your hands on these. If you want to go to lakeprotackle.com, go pick you up a few. Highly recommend the Jackal Bling 55 and also Spro Rock Crawler. That's going to get it done for you for sure. But guys, again, find all our products online, lakeprotackle.com. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.